All right. Good morning. What's up, everybody? NFL Sunday. You guys know the drill. No Josh on this Sunday. He's busy. He has a life. Couldn't be us. So today, subbing in on a Sunday morning is Tom Viola. We saw him earlier this year on a stream. I think it was the Eagles Friday night Brazil game.
Yep.
But we appreciate him for joining us bright and early. He's in California, so extra appreciative of that. But Tom, how we doing?
Oh, we're doing great, Matt. It is another great day here in Las Vegas, not California, but same.
That's right. But I meant to say West Coast, not California.
The betting is the same, honestly.
Yeah, it's all the same. Anything west, like when you're on West Coast time, it's all the same. Las Vegas, California, there's no difference to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, glad to hear you're doing well. I'm a little tired. Have you ever taken Benadryl before for like allergies or?
Oh, that'll get you.
Yeah, so I am blessed to not really have bad allergies. So I've never taken it before, but I got stung by a bee on like Thursday at this point, and like I'm fine. It's just a little bit like a little bit of a reaction to it. So I took Benadryl yesterday, not knowing what it did to you, and I thought I was going to die. I was like, I've never been this tired in my life. I went for a walk to like try and wake myself up, and I could have fallen asleep standing and moving. That's how tired I felt. So
yeah, Benadryl's logic is it's the same as NyQuil. You can't have allergies if you're unconscious.
Yeah, if you're a corpse, you can't have an allergic reaction. I mean, yeah, so I'm fine now, but yesterday I was like, this might be my last day on Earth. But anyways, we're all good.
I'm fortunate my dad's in town right now, so it hasn't been like super late nights out. Although we were out a little bit yesterday. We went to go see Bert Kreischer. I took him to go see him.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That's fun stuff. And every time I do these streams, my computer tells me that I have a bad signal. So if people are watching this and I have a bad signal, let me know. It like seems fine on my end, but just hit me up in the comments. All right, but anyways, we get into it. So yeah, everybody I'm assuming here knows the drill. We're going through every game, and we track everything that we're actually want to be bet that's tracked. So look at the spreadsheets in the comments. You can pull that up. Week 1 was amazing. It's been rough since then, admittedly. Now we were finally, thanks to a good Thursday night football, able to get ourselves in the green on the year. We're up 0.78 units. So it's not like we're breaking the bank, but we'll take some green. But yeah, we'll just get started. I see people in the comments. I appreciate you. We'll just get started with the first game we see on the Unabated screen here. Steelers, Colts. I'll let you go first. What do you got for me in this one?
So, I mean, right off the bat, I can tell you what I'm trying to do right now. And if you want me to share my screen too, I can also do that. But
sure, yeah, go for it.
Cool, yeah. Because this game is absolutely one. I've got some props going in this, but a lot of that is stuff that's past at this point. But this is a prime teaser game right here. When it comes to like the +2.5 that you're getting with the Indianapolis Colts. Right now, the best bet that you can make on a game like this is teasing it with some of these other bets that we could potentially have here. You've got some good candidates this week in teams like Tampa Bay against your Eagles. Sorry about that. No the New Orleans Saints here at +2 at +2.5, and then you also got the Jets who have gone all the way up to 8. Still a good teaser candidate there to tease down. So one of the things that I'm looking to do in this game is tease that Indianapolis Colts up. On a side overall, I do like the Pittsburgh Steelers, but I don't believe that I've bet them.
Yeah. Okay. So you're teasing. It's that the direct one on the screen here. The Colts spread up to 8.5 and the Saints up to 8.5. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. And that's +160.
Yeah. Well, this is a three teamer. So let me put one more in here. Let me grab the Jets. So like something like that is a perfectly viable teaser here. I might even want to swap out the Saints angle, the Saints edge for something that's maybe a little more plus EV, but yeah, that's like, this is a perfectly acceptable teaser here. I'm probably going to be putting this one in a second.
Yeah, cool. All right. So just to let the people know, I think Josh said this, I think he's got it from you, is that the best time to tease is like right now when we're betting, I guess tease, I should say, like spreads and totals and stuff. And you could probably detail it better than I could, but basically the logic is like, if our assumption is that the lines are sharpest Sunday morning, because everybody's gotten their bets in, all the sharps, all like the people that know what they're doing, then lines will never be sharper than they are right now. So now's the time to tease and get over those key numbers. Is that right?
That's exactly what it is, because what teasing is doing is you're using the efficiency of the market against itself. So you want to wait for the market to be as efficient as possible like this so that you're getting the maximum value out of it on that side. It's also a great time for some partial game derivatives. Like I'll pull up some of those tools and see what we've got going on with halves and quarters for the NFL. Probably just some halves this week. We're tweaking the quarter math a little bit, but yeah, that's exactly right. This is the time to be teasing.
Yeah, and it makes complete sense. Like I don't always think Vegas knows what they're doing, but I will not question Vegas when it comes to main lines for the NFL. That I will. Yeah. I'll tell FanDuel right now, I'm not going to beat you betting main lines. I'll beat you betting player props, but not main lines. So all right, so we got you guys see that on the screen here. I'll add it to the sheet. It's Colts, Saints, Jets teaser, teasing the Colts and Saints up, teasing the Jets down.
I'm gonna say don't add that one to the sheet. Because LeGreg in the chat is pointing out we got a good leg in Buffalo.
Oh, they're the tease gods because they've never lost a game. No, sorry, go ahead.
This is the teaser I want. This is the one I want here. I want Tennessee teased up to 8.5, the Jets teased down to 2, and the Colts teased up to 8.5.
Colts, Jets, and what was the other one? The Titans.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. All right. So that's and that's 160. And then what's the book that is it? Any book that you can teach? Like, does it matter?
So prices are going to vary. Make sure you're shopping. I know Bet Buckeye accounts still give you plus 160 on 3-leg teasers, and also if you can find anywhere that's giving you minus 110 on 2-team teasers, those are great prices, and you really want to bet those.
Okay, but as far as this specific one, like if someone was watching this and wanted to bet it.
This one I'd say Bet Buckeye. So it's PPH.
Okay, got it. I've never even heard of that before. All right. Anyway, so for the game itself, the Colts Steelers, I don't have a ton on this one. Like, the Colts are missing an offensive lineman. The Steelers are missing a defensive lineman. It's a pretty gross game overall. I just think Najee Harris is going to score. I think that I don't expect the Colts to be able to do anything on offense, and they can't stop the run on defense. And I like the reason why the Steelers are 3-0 is because they're not letting Justin Fields lose games for them. They're just like super not aggressive offense. I can't think of the word, but like not very aggressive. Yeah. I mean, like short passes, line of scrimmage, run, couple deep shots, but like nothing crazy. No 6-step drops where he'll fumble and like get sacked and fumble. So I like the Najee Harris. All right, you want me to pull my screen back up?
Oh yeah, sure.
So I like the Najee Harris, the Najee Harris touchdown angle. The best offer price on that is plus 125 at FanDuel, and I would definitely take that. Like I'm adding that to the sheet as we speak. I like the Najee Harris one.
I've got his receiving yards over 11.5 today, along with both quarterbacks over their receiving yard numbers.
You mean rushing? Wait, sorry.
No, receiving.
Quarterbacks over their receiving.
Quarterbacks over their throwing numbers. So
okay, all right.
Quarterbacks passing, Najee Harris receiving.
Okay, got it. All right. Cool. Yeah, I think let's see what the odds are. I haven't looked. Yeah, because Jalen Warren's out, so like I wouldn't hate any way we're back in Najee Harris. Like the receiving yards, I think is a good angle. Let's see what Najee's at. She said you got him over 11.5.
Yeah.
Damn, that got juiced up to 13.5. Woo. Yeah. So honestly, at this point, I'm guessing that's a stay away. Because let
me see what I've got based on my numbers here.
Because I see at least for me, I have it at 12.75.
Yeah.
For his projected line.
I've got him projected for 19.5. But
okay, yeah, I would trust yours. I would trust yours over mine. All right, then we'll add that. Yeah.
Yeah, the value is a little bit gone, but BetOnline still has BetOnline, which means any of your PPHs that use Prop Builder still have a 12.5 minus 114. That's not bad, but I'm certainly not on it as much as I was at the 11.5.
Yeah, I mean those like the lower the numbers get, the more important the gap between them becomes. So like 88 to 90.5, not a huge deal. 11 to 13.5. That's, I don't know, like a 22% difference, something like that. Yeah. Adam Tate likes Cordero Patterson. Yeah, I don't hate that, especially with Jalen Warren out. Kind of like I said, there's no bad way to back Najee, and you know Arthur Smith loves him some Cordero Patterson.
Yeah, he really does.
Yeah, and real quick, asking about any last dongs. I didn't send any out today. If you're going to bet one, I'd bet Jose Ramirez, but there's two, like, I don't know who's playing. I don't know who cares. But like, I think it's, if you're going to play one, be Jose Ramirez, but that's it. Anyways.
All right. Let me see if I've got a dong for you.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm rooting around and looking for a dong here. Let's see. It's just running my numbers real quick, and then we'll be good here. I'm just saying I'm coming out of retirement for this because I'm 3 for 3 on dong calls from our baseball show with Derek Hardy this season. Because there were 3 times where someone was like, "Hey, what's a home run prop?" And I'm like, "Well, don't bet home runs, but if you're going to value on this guy," and all 3 of them hit.
All right, and then you had both quarterbacks passing, so I'm just adding that.
Yeah,
I mean, they're so low. I think that's a totally reasonable.
That's exactly why. Like, yes, Anthony Richardson needs to string more than 3 passes together in this game, but I think that could actually happen. So
yeah, especially because it's Highsmith that's out, right?
Yeah,
that's a big deal.
Okay, I've got your dong call.
There we go. Listen in, all right, Chris.
You have two options here that I recommend. Both are at BetMGM, so hopefully these lines are real. But I've got Vlad Guerrero for a home run. MGM has him at plus 625, and then you can go with you can actually look at Pete Alonso, but the other one that I was going to say is Corbin Carroll's 10-1 over at MGM as well. There's some good value on both of those.
There you go. Hope you guys are excited to bet less than $5 on those on MGM.
Yes,
because they're losers. All right. Next game, let's go with Saints Falcons.
Woo.
Did you have anything in this one?
We already talked about it. Another one that's a great teaser calculator here. It's a great teaser leg. I've got a couple different things in this one. I've got Tyler Algier over 6.5. Yeah, I just hit refresh. Over 6.5 rush attempts. I've got Derek. I'm a little heavy on Derek Carr. I've got his over completions at 17.5 and his over passing yards at 196.5. And then I've Kirk Cousins over his passing yards too. A lot of passing yard overs because the passing numbers have been so down through 3 weeks of the season here. And so now the market is adjusting and it's starting to get to a little bit of an overcorrect point.
It's overcorrecting. Yeah.
So a lot of passing yard overs this week for me.
Saints, Falcons. We got Derek Carr. Looks like the lowest is 202.5. That's so low. And both Kamara and Olave are in. So like there shouldn't be really any concern about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you had that. Go ahead.
Kirk Cousins not getting to 200. This is a game that could be a shootout.
Too good. Yeah, it could, but 2 good defenses. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't actually bet this myself. I would take the Falcons. I'm taking the money line. If I were to bet it again, I didn't actually bet this one myself. If I were to bet it, that's where I would go. Mm-hmm. I just think that the Saints are kind of fraudulent and just because they beat up on the Panthers in week 1, that means nothing to me because we've seen how bad they are. They beat up on the Cowboys. Looks like they kind of just jumped the Cowboys a little bit and
it looks like the Cowboys aren't that good either.
And also looks like the Cowboys aren't very good either, 100%. So yeah, I mean, this is a good 211 for Kirk Cousins is super low. And the Saints have always had a good rush defense. I get that Saquon ate him up last week, but that most of that, he had a 65-yard run that he was good prior to that. But yeah, I don't hate that. Sorry. You had Carr, you had Cousins. What was you? You said you had Najee, or sorry, you had something else.
Yeah. I had Carr for both his completions and his pass yards. And then I had Tyler Algier over 6.5 carries. Because you can kill the man, but not the idea. Arthur Smith lives on, as we saw last week, with Algier getting the 4th down attempt carry.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, same thing here. It's a minus. Yeah, I mean it's a solid price. All right, let me just add this to the sheet. We can go to the next game, and then while I'm adding this, you can add it. All right, Bengals, Panthers. What'd you have in this one?
Bengals, Panthers. This is one that I've been kind of staying away from. There's just not much. I have no props in this game, believe it or not. Let's see if I can dig something up here, though.
No, I mean, you don't have to force it. This is the one game I just wrote pass on my notes.
Yeah.
I have nothing. The only thing that I would, if I were to play it, would be Jamar Chase receiving yards, because if the logic is that you think that the Panthers can move the ball with Andy Dalton, then teams are actually going to have to pass against the Panthers. Their defense is still terrible. The Bengals defense is terrible. And, like we see here, like the projection for him is 80. You can get 71.5 at FanDuel. I can actually bet it. I might when we hop off. I like to kind of use these streams if there's anything that I'm waffling on, to just kind of see if I can talk myself into and out of. But yeah, I wouldn't. I haven't bet this one. If I were to play it, I would play the Jamar Chase receiving angle. But yeah.
Yeah, let me see what number I can pull up on that Jamar Chase one there. But that I would be inclined to agree. It feels like Carolina is actually going to have some sort of an offense here. But yeah, it's just a game like I don't want to watch it. I don't particularly want to be riding anything on it. If there's a game with more unknowns, I don't know it.
Yeah, I'm the same. And there's certain games like the desperation Bengals 0-3. Like if you look at their schedule, that they should be 2-1. They should have been the Commanders and they should have been the Patriots. Like an 0-3 for them. They haven't played anybody in their division, which is tough. So like I don't like backing or betting against desperation teams, because you could see them pressing and just make things worse. Or it could be like they actually come out and they just dominate, but it's just too much unknown for me. So yeah, I passed on this one. I don't have a lot today, admittedly.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a down week for me as well, but there's more stuff that I like on the sides, honestly, on the board this week.
Yeah,
which is probably scary.
Yeah, especially for Sunday morning.
Yeah.
All right, next game. I do finally have a play here. Rams Bears. Do you have anything in this one?
Yes, I have a couple props in this one. I also, for the record, I like the Rams +3. I don't care if they're bang.
Total agreement on the Rams.
Yeah. This is one like I like this team, but I've got Tyler Johnson over 2.5 receptions at +102, and then Caleb Williams under his passing yards at 225.5.
Okay, I don't have any props in this one. I would kind of, with just stuff I know off the top of my head, without doing a ton of research, I would lean the opposite with who's it second? My brain is totally blank trying to type this out with Caleb Williams, because the Rams are a pass. Like you can pass, I guess you can run on them too. Like you can do everything on them, but you can pass on the Rams. Their pass defense is terrible, and Caleb Williams, like at least put up stats last week. It wasn't like, I mean, they still couldn't score, but at least he did put up stats. And yeah, so I was looking at some receiving props overs on the Bears. Like I liked a Cole Kmet. I liked a Rome Odunze, but then I just didn't know who was playing because like Keenan Allen's finally in, so I didn't end up like taking anything. I just stuck with the Rams, but I would actually lean towards the other side of it. But yeah, I mean, but we'll see.
I'm a little worried on Tyler Johnson. The market has moved against me here.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah,
but I mean, like, yeah, I mean, so you took the under on. Yeah, it's still just these numbers are so low. It's crazy. I mean, you could probably take every quarterback over at this point because the market has, like you said, adjusted so much.
Yeah, but my projection, I've only got Caleb for like 196, so I'm seeing like massive edges on this.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if that is the case, that is a huge edge because I mean, like 220 or 222 is where it's most offered. There's one question I had for you. Have you noticed like that certain books are sharper on different props or like player props in general? Because the reason why I'm asking is anecdotally, I don't have any math to back this up. It seems like whenever FanDuel is the biggest difference compared to every other book, like we see here, 222, 222, blah, blah, blah. And then FanDuel at 220. I've noticed that FanDuel is the sharper one compared to all these.
Yes, 1,000%. That's a very real thing. FanDuel is definitely my sharpest prop book. Honestly, from there, I go to Bet Online and their prop builder numbers. And that one's more anecdotal for me. A lot of people still care about what Pinnacle has for props, but I certainly put FanDuel as my number one. Especially when NBA season rolls around, that is something that I'm going to be. I always check FanDuel, and if I see that I have an edge, and then I see FanDuel's also, if for example, if I've got a guy at 34 points and FanDuel has his market at 32, and I'm seeing an edge, I'm like, oh, okay, I like my side here.
Yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that for sure. And then prop builder, it's just I've been through 3 weeks of the season here. I've been doing really well with all the rec books, really well with how I've been going, knock on wood. But every single week, it feels like I'm sending money in because I got absolutely shredded on prop builder every single week.
Yeah, that makes sense because I remember I need to pull up because anyways, for this game, and I kind of deviated this a little bit. I'm on the Rams money line. Looks like, is it all the way up to plus 150 now? Holy
Just
crap.
about.
It was 120. All right, then I don't know what the heck changed. I got it at 128 earlier this week and felt good about that number.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's I don't know what would have changed to move the market so much on Rams money line. Unless just like people just hammering, like people just are hammering the Bears.
Yeah.
Because there's even an edge on the Bears money line. So that's concern. I don't love, like, when player props move against me, I'm sometimes okay with it.
Yeah. Like the prop market is so inefficient that it's okay.
Yeah. When main lines move against me, I don't love it, but I'm just going to like, I already gave it out as a play, so I'm not going to back out now. Rams money line. I guess you can get them at +3, which is probably a better value now. Looks like the best legal book is FanDuel at 142. I just don't like the Bears offense is horrendous. They have the worst offense according to DVOA. They have the worst offensive line in the NFL. Like and like all the off schedule stuff that made Caleb Williams look like Patrick Mahomes in college, like none of that stuff is working. And you can't do anything on script either. Like you look like, I'm not a quarterback guru guy, but people on Twitter say that his footwork's a mess. Like when he just needs to do a 3-step drop and get rid of it, his footwork's a mess. And then he can't do the off schedule stuff nearly as good as what he did in college. Cause obviously it's just different. And like the Rams, I feel like, they impressive victory against the 49ers last week. They're completely banged up, which I understand, but I just trust the Bears defense is also good. So like this could also be an under. I'm just curious what the total looks like.
Yeah, it feels like this feels like a very real Rams spot here. You're right with the fact that, they did have a big win last week versus the 49ers. I'm completely scared off the game at this point by the fact that the market is moving the way it is.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. So I'm sticking with my guns. I'm sticking with the Rams money line, but I admittedly don't love the fact that the market moved as aggressively against me as it did.
Yeah.
All right. Vikings, Packers. What do you got in this one?
I'm all aboard the Vikings Express here. I don't understand this line movement at all. I get Jordan Love is apparently going to be back in, but he's first off banged up, and Brian Flores' defenses have absolutely wreaked havoc for quarterbacks so far this season. You're really telling me Jordan Love, who's definitely not going to be 100%, is going to have a good day against that pass rush? I don't see it. I don't understand. I managed to get this line. It's come back down. So I'm happy I got the best of the number because I got +3 -110.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, like absolutely in love with the price that I got there. This spot makes no sense to me. It's Vikings or nothing for me because Sam Darnold is actually good at football. And they get Jordan Addison back.
Yeah. All right. So if you're taking it right now, since there's no 3s available, would you do the money line or still take the 2.5?
Let's find out here. I think I would probably do the money line, but I'm just going to use the unabated compare lines calculator here.
Yeah, smart. Because I'm with you. I would lean towards the Vikings. I don't know, like if I could get a Viking, if anybody out there can get a Vikings +3, like if you're looking at a book that I don't have up here because I'm just looking at what's legal to me and then some sharp ones. If you can get a 3 out there like that, I agree with you. That's a hammer. Like getting that field goal is massive. And I agree. Like I agree with you on Brian Flores. His defenses have been awesome. I agree with you on Jordan Love. Like he's got a banged up knee. He's going to come back and play, but like even if let's pretend he's healthy, he still missed a couple of weeks and going up against an exotic defense. And honestly, like he didn't look that great in the game that he played in, which you can explain away that being the field and like every time he dropped back on his plant foot, he would slip, but he still didn't look great in the game against the Eagles. So yeah, I'm totally with you on the Vikings. But yeah, so sorry, you were going to look up a price.
So looking at my price comparison here, money line is most likely going to be better than anything you're finding in the market. If you've got unless you're in New Jersey and have Sport Trade, you've got a decent line at +2.5, +104, but Caesars has +2.5 even money on the Vikings. And if you can find, which is pretty common out there right now, plus 124 on the money line, plus 124 is the better bet.
Okay. All right. So we'll do that. Yeah, I'm with you. It feels like people just like are waiting for Sam Darnold to turn back into a pumpkin.
It's not happening.
It's like
it's
when
not
you get
happening.
when you get him out of the Jets.
As the owner of a 52-1 Sam Darnold MVP ticket, it's not happening.
A completely unbiased opinion on that. Yeah. I mean, look at Baker Mayfield out of Carolina.
Yeah.
Look at out of Cleveland's same thing. So maybe it's Carolina. I played Aaron Jones anytime touchdown in this one. It feels like it's really square because like the whole world's on it, but like the price
revenge
you're
game.
getting, it's a revenge game. You're getting it at plus 135 at FanDuel. It's minus 111 at Bet Online. So like if you view Bet Online as a sharp one, that's like an awesome price. It's minus 110 at Caesars. One thing that I've noticed is like I feel like FanDuel isn't the sharpest with touchdowns. I've noticed that they're the sharpest with yards. I have not noticed that with touchdowns because I've been able to take FanDuel for a ride specifically, and also for alt lines as well. I think they're really sharp with their main line stuff on player props, but I don't necessarily think touchdowns and alts FanDuel's that sharp. But yeah, I mean, it's a revenge game for Aaron Jones. It's the Packers run defense, which has been like weeks 1 and 2 was terrible. Last week was very good. And I'm not necessarily ready to believe that like a 1 game sample size means that their run defense is not as bad as we saw in weeks 1 and 2. Like Saquon lit him up in week 1. Jonathan Taylor lit him up in week 2. And even though he didn't score, he rushed like for over 100 yards on, I think it was 11 carries, if I remember correctly. And they just like shut down Will Levis in the Titans offense last week. But like, that means nothing to me because Will Levis in that Titans is just that offense is a total joke. So yeah, I also love how they use him. He could score on the ground. He could score in the air. And if you put any semblance into the revenge narrative, which I sometimes do in situations like this, then that only helps. And like I said, plus 130 at FanDuel, minus 110 at Caesars, minus 111 at Bet Online. So you're getting a pretty good price there.
Yep. And that's the thing with touchdowns. Like always make sure you line shop because the fluctuation in that market is incredible.
It's crazy. Yeah. I have yet to see a situation where like I think, oh, this book is sharper than the rest. All I notice is that Caesars consistently has the worst odds, worst for the better. I mean, like it's very rare that you see the best offer price for a touchdown prop on Caesars.
Yeah.
And they don't have any limits. So like maybe they're sharp on touchdowns because people just hammer those, but sharp bettors aren't putting a lot of money on touchdown props. So there's kind of like a, who knows what the chicken or egg thing is there, but all right, moving on. Jags Texans. What do you have in this one?
Jags Texans. I got a little spicy on this one. Trevor Lawrence is 22-1 to lead the league in passing this week. I took that. Yeah.
I mean, 22-1.
Yep. I also have his passing yard over, obviously, but I've got it. I like the Jags in this spot mostly because of the fact that they just conveniently every single time they play the Texans, they always play them tough. And I think this is, like you said, the desperation spot here. I'm not necessarily taking them on. I'm not taking Jacksonville on the side, but the way I'm investing in this team is by saying Houston has a really good offense. Their defense has not been good so far this season. I think that this could be a shootout potential game. The game script here looks like it could lead to Trevor Lawrence passing the ball a good deal. And maybe they win the game, maybe they lose the game. But I think that this is one of those spots where you shoot for the ceiling on Trevor Lawrence.
I like it. And what book was that? The passing leader?
I think DraftKings.
Okay. Yeah. Not all books have that market.
Yeah.
And people who watch my YouTube channel already know what I'm on for this, but I took a ladder play on Nico Collins. I took him 80 plus and I took him 100 plus. So I put a full unit on the 80 plus. I put a half unit on the 100 plus. And let's see. So right now you can get the 80 plus. Looks like it's BetMGM at minus 130. Looks like, or you can take the over. I guess everywhere else is 83.5. At least according to what we're seeing here. So yeah, I'm just going to put the BetMGM line. But I mean, he's awesome. He's projected for 88. So that's always like, at least it's over the main line prop. And I mean, Nico Collins has been amazing. And and this game just lines up perfectly for CJ Stroud and Nico Collins. I just going with Nico because like I don't like quarterback passing yards at their main line. I'm cool with. I don't necessarily love alt lines because they just have to hit such a high number, and that's always a little bit risky. But like with no Tank Dell, with no Joe Mixon and Damian Pierce, like I think they're going to run the ball a lot, and you can pass on the Jags. And there's a couple things like so. Nico Collins leads the NFL in receiving yards. He's averaging 112 per game. And then you look at the matchup. According to fantasy points, this is the second best coverage matchup grade of all week 4 quarterbacks, which just looks at what coverage the defense plays versus what the quarterback's good against. And the reason why this is such a good matchup is because man coverage. The Jags, like across the NFL, everybody's playing a zone, 2-high zone, limit big plays, all that stuff. The Jags are not doing that. They're completely zagging. They play man defense over 60% of the time.
Yeah.
That leads the NFL by a mile. The next closest team, so they're at 61.4 to be exact. The next closest team is at 47.9. So they're above 60. Nobody else is even above 50. And that's man coverage. Obviously, the opposite is true for zone. They play zone at the lowest rate. Like I give them props for trying to do something different. The problem is they're just not good at it. Like their defense is terrible.
And it's like this is you feel like this is the thing that's going to get Doug Peterson fired is they're not adapting. They're not looking at what's going on around the league. Maybe it's because of what they think they have in their personnel, but yeah, this defense has been horrible. And I think in a battle of 2 horrible defenses here, the shootout potential is really there. And that leads to great things for both my Trevor Lawrence plays and your Nico Collins here.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, I don't mind trying something different. You just have to be good at it. And that's the biggest problem. Like they're just not good.
Exactly.
And like Nico Collins and CJ Stroud just annihilate man coverage. Like if you look, that's why it's the highest coverage grade. And then just looking at if you look at Nico Collins, where are my notes? Nico Collins has the 7th highest yards per route run against man coverage, 6th highest yards per target. And also Nico Collins is really good after the catch. He averages, he's second in the NFL in yards after catch and is first after yards after contact per reception, which I always fumble with my words because it's a lot. Basically, he's good at breaking tackles. And the Jags are like part of the issue with their coverage has been they can't tackle. They allow the 2nd highest yards after catch per reception and the 7th highest yards after contact per reception. So like one thing I've had success doing a lot with the NFL is like taking alt lines. And this is my same process for NBA. Like if a receiver averages 80 yards per game, he's having games with 150, he's having games with 20. You know what I mean? Like that's just how receiving props go in the NFL. So I took the full ladder on. I took a couple guys I climbed the full ladder on. Nico Collins is one of them. What do you got?
No, I just like it.
Oh, I thought you found something. You were like, oh,
no, sorry. I was like, no, you got the full ladder. I'm like, oh, the full ladder.
Climb the full ladder up to 100%. Yeah. So cool. All right. Next game. I think I already know where you're going here, but it's Broncos Jets. Is it just the teaser?
Yeah, I'm teasing the Jets. I have maybe too much on the Jets here as far as my teasing. It's my survivor pick for the week. I figure there aren't going to be too many more times where I want to use the Jets here, and it's just if they're not going to take care of business against Bo Nix, I don't deserve to be in my competition. Like that's the way it goes. I'm out of Circa Survivor, but I do have a couple entries left. It's a 600 person pool. We're down to 26, and I have 2 left.
Well, Survivor's been crazy this year. Every single the biggest favorite every single week has lost. It was the Patriots beat the Bengals. It was the Raiders beat the Ravens, and then what was last week? Was it the
Bengals?
Oh yeah, you're right. It was the Bengals again. So
yeah,
against the Commanders as like over a touchdown favorite.
Yep. I know I'm scared. I'm hoping the trends reverse this week because like this week of all, the 3 weeks that have been a bloodbath because it's the top 5 most picked every week are all losing.
It's crazy.
It's something like favorites of a touchdown or more are like 1-11 this season
against the spread and straight up are. I forget what they are, but yeah, it's like they have a losing record as over a touchdown favorite. It's crazy. Yeah, that's gonna eventually the books are gonna like correct themselves on who's good and who's not. It's like this is not going to continue. But if you can catch a trend like that early, it's crazy.
But you look at the games this week, and it's just so hard to pick something to the point where I had to go. I was like, I know that this is the week that I'm going to be on to the top pick teams, but the Jets and the 49ers are really the only ones that jump out to me where I'm sitting there like, yeah, I feel comfortable with this game. Like if I still had one more entry, I'd probably throw something on the Vikings and be a little be a little creative about it, but I don't know. I'm scared to do that this week.
Yeah, yeah. I don't blame you. I mean, I didn't do Survivor this. I would have been out week one or week. I would have been out one of the weeks because I knew someone who I would have liked lost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's been crazy. So yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I don't have any. So I don't actually have a real play in this Jets game. I would lean towards Jets covering the spread. I can look and see what the best offered price is as of right now. I just like I could not be more out on this Broncos team. So let's see, Jets. Yeah, you're still getting. I guess you're getting 7.5 at DraftKings, which I in some other books. Yeah, I would take. I mean, I'm not like I said, I'm not betting it. I would take the 7.5 at DraftKings if someone just wanted action in this game.
Yeah.
That's where I would lean. Is Jets spread. Like the Broncos won last week, and another one of the huge upsets. But like to me, and we'll talk about that game next, the Bucks Eagles. To me, that was more of like a letdown spot for the Bucks than it was buying anything. Because like the Bucks were coming off just beating the Lions, who bounced them in the playoffs, and then the next week are playing the Eagles, the team that the Bucks bounced in the playoffs. So like that was just and that was like an AFC game. It's just an obvious letdown spot.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
if you're playing this Jets game at this point, the move is absolutely teasing it. Because covering a touchdown is hard. I think that this Jets team is very good offensively. And I think they've continued to get better. I don't think we've seen them hit their ceiling for offense yet, because Aaron Rodgers just continues to get more comfortable in this system. That's not going to lead to bad things. Every week it looks like he goes out there every week and he looks better than the previous week.
Yeah, I mean, on Thursday Night Football, he was awesome. Was like clearly the most comfortable he's been. And the
miracle for the Jets, has been they lost C.J. Mosley, their middle linebacker. He's got a weird toe injury going on, and like that's a crucial part of this defense. Jamian Sherwood has stepped up, and it looks like he might even Wally Pip C.J. Mosley. That's how good he's playing.
Yeah. I mean, they like Patriots offense, just like they couldn't run the ball at all.
Yeah. And this Patriots team is playing the 49ers. You want to talk about another one where I'm looking at it and I'm going, okay, there's the other survivor. You know, these are the two top most picked teams, but this might be one of those weeks where I just say I'm just trying to survive this one.
Eventually, that stuff's not going to continue.
Yeah.
All right, Eagles Bucks next game. You have anything in this one?
Eagles Bucks again, decent teaser spot, not the best teaser spot. I don't hate the fact that I'm getting plus money on the Bucks, to be honest with you. I'm sorry to say it, but no, I think that they're a very good team. I think they're a very good team. I think Baker Mayfield's really good, and the fact that you have, I'm pretty sure you and I'm a little worried here. This is the 10 o'clock game. Are we going to be able to make it to the field in time to play receiver for the Eagles?
That's a good question. Yeah. I'm totally with you. I was on the Bucks early this week. I'm even more confident on that now. I'm actually bet it because I'm not going to bet against the Eagles just for my own But if I was giving betting advice, it would 100% be the Bucks money line. 100%. Like the fact that you can still get a plus price with all the injuries to the Eagles. I mean, it's like you're not getting a ton of it's like plus 1 of 6 at Sport Trade. Mm-hmm. It was plus something else I forget earlier. Like I have a hard time seeing the Eagles win this game, and it's a good bounce back spot for the Bucks after I mentioned like that debacle against the Broncos, and the Eagles like without AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, and Lane Johnson, and like with Vita Vea being back, it's really hard to see the Eagles do much on offense. And like even if the Eagles defense plays just as good as they played last week, like 10 points might be enough. And like Todd Bowles has had Jalen Hurts' number in his career, so. I have a hard time seeing the Eagles win this one. I see Mike on the Saquon anytime touchdown.
Who else is scoring for that team? Jalen Hurts is about it.
I mean, the price on that, I guess minus 120 at FanDuel isn't terrible. I don't love playing minus money anytime touchdowns. I actually had a complete dart throw, and I put $10 on it. So let me be very clear. I took Will Shipley to score a touchdown. I'm gonna put that on the sheet as well. Again, it's $10. It's a line shopping play. Like I got it at Hard Rock at plus 2,500. So like, let's be real here. Like it's a 25-1 touchdown prop for a reason.
Yeah.
But the logic being, again, they're missing their top 2 receivers, and they're missing a depth receiver in Britton Covey. Like you want to know their 3 wide receiver set. It's Paris Campbell, Jahan Dotson, and Johnny Wilson. Like that's how dire things are. And like, yeah, you have Dallas Goedert. He just went for 10 and 170 last week. Like you think defenses aren't going to be keyed in. on Dallas Goedert. They're probably not going to play man coverage when the Eagles run a mesh route. Like that's how he got 90 of his 170 yards was from 2 broken plays. And then Will Shipley, people don't know who he is. That's fine. He's a white running back. He is a good receiving back. So with all eyes on Goddard and all eyes on Saquon, maybe the Eagles do like a 2 running back set and they get something in the air for Will Shipley. Like again, it's it's plus 2,500 for a reason. DraftKings had it at plus 900 when I bet it. So like there's like a clear massive gap between a book that I trust a little bit more for player props in DraftKings than like Hard Rock doesn't know what the heck they're doing.
Yeah.
And you can also get it at plus 2,200 at both Bet Rivers and BetMGM. And then Bet Online has it at plus 1,700. So they're like splitting the difference. But yeah, that's where I went in this game. So you were on the Bucks and that was it.
Yeah, I'm on the Bucks here as far as side. Good, not great teaser leg. I think that's all I have in this one. I don't think that I have any props.
Yeah, cool. I think that is all the 1 p.m. games, right? We did Saints Falcons, we did all that stuff. Yeah. So now we move on to the 4 o'clock games on Eastern, 1 o'clock for you. We'll start with Commanders Cardinals. What do you got?
Commanders Cardinals. I've got James Conner under 2.5 receptions.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. I like the Cardinals in this game, but I don't like them enough to bet them. Jordan Love is going to start.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. All right, so Conner. Yeah, it's who knows what he's going to look like.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Because like a knee injury like that, yeah. But
again, and the line keeps moving. I look, to quote Captain Jack here, this feels like a bridge too far for me. Like this line keeps moving in the direction of the Packers, and I just don't see it.
I think the Packers are getting a little bit of the Texans where everybody loved them preseason.
Yeah.
And like they're everybody's favorite Super Bowl pick. And like they're winning games, but the Packers have looked amazing with Malik Willis, but like that's not how they're going to win the Super Bowls, like with Malik Willis and kind of like a little bit of and the Texans are.
Not to mention the fact that we're dealing with the same exact thing here that we dealt with week 2 with Malik Willis, where the line went completely the other way and was like a 7-point swing on Jordan Love being out. And it was, that's too much. That's too much, too far. And now it's going back the other way. We have learned nothing.
We have learned nothing.
We have learned nothing.
Yeah. It's a tagline for just sports betting in general. Yep. All right. I have 2 plays in this Commanders game. I have the first one. I took Jaden Daniels anytime touchdown. We just get so plus 135. It's actually, I got it at plus 130. So you can get a little bit of a better price than what I got. I was like really debating between Jaden Daniels and Brian Robinson Jr. I think both of them are great bets to score.
Yeah.
I just went with Jaden Daniels because you're getting a better price. So like if I'm 50 between the 2, I'll just take the better odds. Mm-hmm. But if you wanted Brian Robinson Jr., wow, see, even these have, so Brian Robinson Jr. was minus money everywhere I looked. When I looked, I put this out on Friday. He's now plus 120 at both DraftKings and FanDuel. He's minus 125 at Caesars. He's minus 111 at BetOnline. He's minus 125 at Bet Rivers. So I'm gonna add that. I'm gonna add both. I'm put a unit on both. They're both plus money. If one scores touchdown, we're making money. I've done this before and it worked out. So that's what I'm doing again.
And hey, they both could score touchdowns in this game. The Cardinals defense isn't that good, and they like to run the ball.
Exactly. So, and also Austin Eckler's out. The Cardinals defense, their numbers against the run have been not bad this year. They were horrific last year. And now the Cardinals are missing their best defensive lineman. I forget the guy's name, but their like best run stopping defensive lineman's out. And the Commanders, they love to run the ball. They're one of the most run heavy teams in the red zone. Part of that is because they have a scrambling quarterback. So it could be a drop back pass play. And if he rushes one, that'll count towards a rushing play, but they run the ball 70% of the time when they're inside the 10-yard line. And I think they're going to do the same thing against the Cardinals. So I'm adding that. I initially only gave out Jaden Daniels. The fact that you can get Brian Robinson Jr. at plus 120, I think is awesome in a game where, like I said, Austin Eckler's out and they're not going to give they're going to run the ball a ton in the red zone, and they're not going to give anybody else carries.
Yeah.
I also, another ladder here, climbed the full ladder with Marvin Harrison Jr. So
I can't hate on it.
Yeah, I mean, people know me know I love these ladder plays.
Marvin Harrison Jr. I absolutely loved betting his overs week 2 because you saw all the discourse week 1 of, oh, he can't get separation, he's not good in the NFL, and it's like, okay, let's calm down for a second here.
Yeah,
and that was the most obvious situation that was going to come out of a week ever.
100%. Yeah, 100%. So, and there is some, like, so the way I played it, I put it in the sheet. I put a unit on 75 plus, which I got at plus 130 at Bet365. I put a half unit on 100 plus at plus 320 at DraftKings. My Unabated line has them at 78, so at least we're getting over the 75 plus number, which is, and that's at plus 130. And like, you see, like 72 and a half is where the main line is. I just pump that up, get a little bit better price. But yeah, I mean, this Commander's pass defense is terrible. Like I climbed the full ladder with Jamar Chase on Monday night. It's the same logic. And there's no their tight end, Trey McBride. He gets a ton of targets. Like that's all out. And yeah, I don't love the receptions for Marvin Harrison. And touchdown, I think, is also solid, but it seems like he's more of like a deeper threat. And there's still some kinks to work out between him and Kyler in the red zone. So I left it at the receiving yards, but yeah.
And he's very prone to just breaking some big ones here. Like if you could get a double long tutty game from him, that could totally happen.
Just like we saw in week 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. All right. So you had the James Conner and that was it in this one, right?
Yeah. That's all I had going on here.
Yeah. Damn. I have a lot in this game, but hey, I mean, games with these high over unders, I like to target.
Nobody cares, but my fantasy quarterbacks are in fact Kyler Murray and Jaden Daniels. And every week so far, I've been able to pick the wrong one.
So that's going to continue.
Yes.
Just know that
I have Jaden Daniels this week, so Kyler Murray's going off.
Well, I hate to hear that because I'm also starting Jaden Daniels this week.
Yeah. Sorry, man. You're cooked.
Maybe this is the day you get it right. Who knows?
We'll see. We'll see.
What's next? Patriots 49ers. So I think I already know where you're leaning here, but yeah, what do you got?
Patriots 49ers. I've got a couple of things in this one. I've got Taekwon. I'm investing maybe too much in the Patriots passing game this week.
I'm guessing those numbers are low.
That's the point. And that's what I've been doing all season long with the Patriots so far, because they have no number 1 receiver. They don't even have a number 2 receiver. They've just got like 8 threes. And it's looking like my buddy's dating history out there. And it's just, this is.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, we have,
just hitting threes.
Yeah. Just the James Harden of dating, man. He's never meant a 3. He'll pass up. But Taekwon Thornton's at 6.5. He has to catch 1 pass. This is an offense that's going to spread the ball around. That is that's my play that I like right now at this very moment. But I've got some that line's still available. Let me see what I have in this game. I've got Demario Douglas over 3.5 receptions, KJ Osborne over 12.5 receiving yards. And I hope I didn't accidentally bet that Demario Douglas number twice, but I might have. So I really need him to get over that 3.5 because I think, judging by my records here, I double popped him.
I've done that before.
Yep. Happens to the best of us.
What number did you get the Osborne one at?
Osborne, I got at 12.5.
Okay, he's up to 17 and a half. Yeah. So I'm guessing that's a no touch at that point.
Yeah, and the Demario Douglas number has also been going my way. It's definitely going down. So I'm happy with these, but the best thing I've got for you right now is Bet365 has Taekwon Thornton at 6.5 yards, and I like his over here.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. That number is way too low. So yeah, all right. I'm only adding Thornton and Douglas to the sheet. I didn't have a real play on this one. If I were to bet it, I would just take Ayuk over his receiving prop. I think it's a classic, like what you see with all these receivers. They have a couple down games in a row and then they explode. That's what I kind of think is going to happen to Brandon Ayuk. I get, like, he hasn't looked good. He's dropped the ball and all that stuff. But if you trust advanced metrics sites that look at like his route score and all that stuff, like he's according to them, all his advanced metrics look phenomenal. Like he's got the second highest separation score in the NFL. He's got the highest win rate in the NFL. And like against man, second highest separation score, second highest win rate. Against zone, third highest separation score, third highest win rate. Doesn't matter if the defense is playing man or zone. He's been able to beat it. And the fact that the 49ers are getting back Kittle and Debo, that actually makes me like this more because, like, yeah, it's more competition for targets. It's also less coverage specifically designed for him. And the Patriots are a pass funnel. Like, we've seen teams pass on them. Well, I guess maybe Joe Burrow, not week 1, not as much, but week 2, the Seattle Seahawks lit him up. Last week, Aaron Rodgers lit him up. So I think that Ayuk is like a finally time to buy in on him. And like, if you believe the projections that we see on Unabated at about 65, if we believe that FanDuel is sharper with mainline player props, they have him at 62.5. Bet365 has him at 57.5.
Yeah. Bet365 also has the softest player prop lines of all time.
Yeah, they do. I've taken them for a ride. Yeah. So I'm not. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, no. You continue because I got John Jennings, so I'll talk about him next.
Okay. All I was gonna say is that I'm adding. Initially, I was just gonna give him out as a lean. I'm adding Brandon Ayuk over 57 as a play because I think he's a good ladder potential as well because he's one of those players that, like, when he goes off, he explodes. So and see, it just went down to 55.5 at DraftKings, even better. So all right, that's what I'm making my official play now is the 55.5. Anyways,
there you go. I
really
like
Juwan
Jennings. You can get him over 34.5 at even money at ESPN Bet. He's at 30 or 31.5 at some other books with a lot more juice to it. But Juwan Jennings is one that I'm really looking at here. I've got him projected for 50 yards.
Yeah, I got him for 43. We just use different numbers. Yeah. That's why you see the difference between us. Yeah, I mean, to me, like, my issue is it feels like the week after. Like,
if you didn't go to the wedding, don't show up to the funeral.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like, I mean, my general, and this isn't obviously nothing has a 100% hit rate. And sorry, you got him at 35.5 at even money. Is that you said?
34.5 at even money at ESPN Bet right now.
Okay, got it. I guess I don't have them on my screen, but anyways, yeah, I don't like betting off of after outlier performances. It's part of just like with baseball, basketball, and football. Like, he went off for 1 million yards and 3 touchdowns last week. Like, that's just something that is going to inflate his line. I mean, it's like honestly not that inflated. So like, you're not really paying that price that much, but yeah, he's going to be on people's radars. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to talk you out of it. All right. Next up, what's our next game here? The best game of the week: Browns versus Raiders.
Oh, my dad's going to be hate watching that one.
I believe it.
Browns versus Raiders. This is a game it's hideous. But I do have a couple props in it. I've got Zamir White over 13.5 rushing attempts. Just because of the fact that, well, first off, I've got it projected over that. And also they keep saying, oh, we're going to give him more carries. We're going to give him more carries. And that line is going down, which is not good for me.
Yeah, it's 12.5 now, -102 at FanDuel.
But I did get 13.5 at +130.
Oh, I mean, that's way better than 12.5 at -102, I would guess.
Yeah.
All right, so you had Zamir White, and what was that it?
Cedric Tillman over 6.5 receiving yards.
You love these nasty boy props.
I do. That's where you find value. That's where you find value on the slate. You don't look to the superstars. Look to the nasty boys. Look to the. We got to get a shirt, man. That's up there with Cuba Troopers for us. The nasty boys.
Nasty boys.
But yeah, that's what I'm looking at when it comes to these guys. I'm looking for low volume, like the bottom of the depth chart guys where, hey, they are actually going to catch a pass in more games than they don't. And you consistently bet these wide receiver 3, 4, 5s. It's even more prevalent in college, but it's still doable in the NFL where you're looking for these guys who you really only need one.
Yeah, I mean, projected from on my end, 27 receiving yards, getting him at 7.5. I'm guessing you have projected even probably a little bit higher if I had to guess.
I actually haven't projected lower than that. Like, if you hit the green triangle there, it's going to give you a bigger edge than I got. But I'm still like my numbers still like this one.
45% edge is remarkable.
And then Gardner Minshew under his passing yards, because this is one, if you want to ladder something, this is one that's worth laddering.
Because he might get benched? Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking here. He could very well get benched in this game. If they're not playing well, he could be pulled with maybe 100 yards.
I mean, that's true. I would, yeah. I mean,
like if they're doing poorly at halftime and he's got 30 yards passing, you really tell me we're not seeing Aiden O'Connell? And you're not racking up like Gardner Minshew under 50. Like, come on.
mean, that's true. And like last week, the problem was their defense. And even still,
Yeah.
he was like, I might bench Gardner. It's like, is that.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
the Gardner led the league in passing through 2 weeks this season, and they're still like, we're going to bench him. I don't like Antonio Pierce. He's not a good coach.
No, I agree.
Ravens are going to be looking for a new coach soon.
Yeah. I mean, like the testosterone thing only works if you have like Ben Johnson is your offensive coordinator. And like he's run like so the Dan Camp. Yeah. I mean, name me one other time the testosterone head coach has ever worked out. It's just not a thing. You need to be, that just motivation and hard work is not enough in the NFL.
Exactly.
I took Brock Bowers over 52.5 receiving yards. Looks like you still get that basically everywhere. And like, again, if we're trusting FanDuel, they have him at 54. My projections have him at 56. And to me, like, it's just even if it's Aiden O'Connell, even if it's Gardner Minshew, like he is the number one target, especially now with Devontae Adams out, future Jet with Devontae Adams.
Yes.
And yeah, bet 365 at -110. Yeah, like week one, he went, and I have it in my notes. I'm just pulling up that now. 58 yards on 8 targets in week one. Week two against the Ravens, 9 receptions on 9 targets, caught all of his targets for over 90 yards. And like last week, he had a bad game in a game in which they just got like jumped from the start. Like that was just a bad game from the start. Like that's, and to me, like he is this number one target.
He is tight end 1 this season. He's the only good tight end in fantasy football.
Tight end 1 right now.
Yeah.
Dallas Goedert. Because he had one good game. That made him literally made him.
That's all you need right now.
Yeah.
If you have one game where you show up in the tight end position, you are the greatest draft pick this year.
Yeah. That just shows you how bad tight ends are. Like Dallas Goedert's had one good game.
Yeah.
And he's literally the tight end 1.
Yeah. Absolutely absurd with tight ends this year, among everything. I do think that we do see a positive regression on some of this. Like tight ends are going to pick up, passing yards are going to pick up. It might not be back to what we were used to in the heyday. Again, we watched gods on Sunday. Like I was having this exact conversation with my buddy last night. If you put prime Phillip Rivers and prime Matt Ryan in quarterback today, like this week, top 5 quarterbacks, both of them.
I have to think on that because like you got Mahomes, you got Josh Allen, you got Joe Burrow.
Is Joe Burrow a top 5? You're telling me Joe Burrow is going to put up better numbers this week than Phillip?
Well, I guess are we talking like strictly numbers? Or are we talking like our better quarterback? Yes, no. Because we're talking numbers.
Okay, let's talk better quarterback. Let's talk better quarterback here. I'm just going to say Matt Ryan's a better quarterback than Joe Burrow.
I mean, Matt Ryan had one good season under Kyle Shanahan, and it was like fine. Other than that, I would take Joe Burrow.
Matt Ryan put up arcade numbers, dude.
He did it 1 year though. Like arcade
compared
numbers
to what people are putting up today, he was going out and doing it every year.
I guess. I mean, I just think like his only good year, really good year, was when Kyle Shanahan was his offensive coordinator. Like you look at his stats, and I get it, you're comparing to different eras, but like,
I mean, it's not really different eras. The man retired last week.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. I mean, like, yeah, his numbers, I guess like 47 yards is pretty good in 2012, 2018, 4,900 yards. 4,900 in 2016. Yeah, I guess honestly that's better than I thought. But I still think Burrow's better than Matt Ryan.
We need to see more from Burrow before I'm ready to make that statement. Honestly, like at this point, it looks for all the world like Joe Burrow versus Patrick Mahomes is going to be the next Peyton Manning versus Tom Brady. But I don't think Burrow has done enough to prove it yet. I still think that he should be on the career trajectory for us to be able to look back and say, oh yeah, he was a better quarterback than Matt Ryan. But right now, I don't think I agree.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. He went to Super Bowl his second year. He went to the AFC Championship his third year, and then he broke his wrist in his fourth year.
Yeah.
And then his rookie year, he tore his ACL. So, I mean, we'll see. All this stuff is.
We'll see how it shakes out. But again, the larger point that I'm trying to make there, even then, okay, after those 3 quarterbacks, like,
I mean, no.
Yeah, do you really want Lamar Jackson or prime Phillip Rivers?
Yeah, I mean the quarterback play today is gross. And this is supposed to be the opposite. Like these rookies aren't really showing. Like Caleb Williams hasn't done anything.
Yeah.
Drake May's not starting. The other guy, I mean Jaden Daniels is awesome. He's probably the only one that
Jaden Daniels is fun right now.
He's awesome. He's looked the best by far of all the rookie quarterbacks.
Yeah, but it is Matt Ryan won an MVP. Yeah,
he did.
Again. It's all about the talent. These guys, Matt Ryan, Phillip Rivers, these were guys that we looked their entire careers and we're like, yeah, they're that tier 2 quarterback. They're not They're not they're not Tom Brady. They're not Peyton Manning. They're not
Or Aaron
Drew Brees. They're
Rodgers,
not
yeah.
Aaron Rodgers. If they were playing today, we would be talking about how they are. These are the Peyton Manning and Tom Brady's of today. Like
we wouldn't be saying that about Matt Ryan and Phillip Rivers, though. We wouldn't be saying they're Peyton Manning and Tom Brady.
I mean, we would be saying they are two of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league.
Maybe. Phillip Rivers is just destined to be losing by 4 points in the afternoon slate while like everybody just woken up from their nap and are like, oh, Phillip Rivers is like trying to lead a game-winning drive. Like that's Phil.
Yeah.
I mean, part of it was like the Chargers, which I get,
but
yeah.
But still at the end, like, was he a stat merchant? Absolutely. Same as Matt Stafford, but Stafford still went on to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, true. Yeah. All right. Who would have thought we'd talk about Phillip Rivers, Matt Ryan when talking about the Browns Raiders game?
We went off on some tangents here.
Yeah, it's all good. That's what these Sundays are for. We have a couple games left, so we can. Yeah, we got 2 games left. Chiefs, Chargers. What do you have in this one?
Like I said, Samaje Perine over receiving yards or over rushing yards. Over rushing yards. And then I've also got Patrick Mahomes over his passing yards number. Which I don't know what's wilder to think about. The fact that I've gone from feeling uneasy about betting Patrick Mahomes unders to feeling uneasy about betting Patrick Mahomes overs, or like really looking at it like, geez, I don't feel good about this number, but I'm going to take it. This is wild what we're seeing out of a Patrick Mahomes that has better weapons around him than he did last year.
Yeah. I mean, 247 for Mahomes, feeling iffy about that over. It just shows you everything you need to know.
Yeah. That's the state of the league right now. I've got him for 273. This game isn't a dome. He does love playing in domes because everybody loves playing in domes, and it's against the Chargers, who don't have Derwin James. Joey
Bosa, right? Isn't Bosa out?
Is he? I mean, that's even bigger.
I know he got hurt last week. I don't know if he's out or not, but
I feel like he's hurt every week.
Yeah, he is. He's definitely always hurt.
Yeah. This line hasn't moved at all on me. I got it at 247. I got that FanDuel number at 247.5 minus 113, and it has not moved. Kelsey finally shows up. Is Taylor going to be at the game?
Oh, you can get a 246.5. Yeah, good question. Is there like some news that we're waiting on? Like, why do no books have odds for this play?
I have no idea.
I mean, I guess it's an afternoon one, but like I don't know what we could what news we could be waiting.
Mahomes passing yards, like that should have been out weeks. Like that should have been out beginning of the week.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, whatever. I didn't play anything in this game. If I were to
is out.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, I thought he was out. I would lean, and this is like just a complete disgusting, the equivalent of a nasty boy play. But I would take the Chargers spread. I mean, like the Chiefs just don't blow people out. They just don't. And like the Chargers, I think Jim Harbaugh is a good coach. Unlike Antonio Pierce, like he backs up his testosterone stuff by actually being a good coach. Yeah. And I get it. Like the Chargers are missing their right and left tackle. Justin Herbert's on one ankle. Derwin James is out. Joey Bosa is out. I totally get it. This just screams Chiefs win on the last second field goal. Like that should like I'm not betting it, so I'm not putting it on the sheet. But that's where I would lean.
I'm staying away from it. If anything, I'm teasing the Chargers down to 1.5. But
you mean the Chiefs?
Yes. No.
Yeah.
Yes. That is what I'm doing there.
Yeah.
I'm teasing the Chiefs down to 1.5, but like it's the Chiefs are terrible against the spread. They are.
It's been that way for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm not touching this with a 10-foot pole. If I were to bet it, it would be the Chargers spread, but we can move on. Bills Ravens, actually a very good game. What do you got?
I mean, I like the Bills. It's a fantastic teaser spot for them. I've already teased them up to 8.5 in a couple different plays. It is that's the biggest place I'm going, and then I think I'm also going to Josh Allen over 232 passing yards here.
Okay,
I think the Bills win this game straight up. By the way,
yeah, I'd probably agree with you. I'm not on the. This won't load. My computer's
the Ravens are a run first team with a terrible offensive line. Those two things don't go together.
Yeah, and especially the Bills, you can't run on them.
No.
Yeah, I don't hate that. So you took Josh Allen, although I think it's just waiting for something to load. I was just trying to see where the books had it at. My computer.
Yeah,
there we go.
That was weird.
Yeah, all good. So much data being run. Yeah, I mean that's another like 228. Like it's a good edge if you're just looking at from that perspective. All right, so Josh Allen over 228.5 passing yards, and that's of course. Bet365 has the best offer price on all these.
Yes. Like half the reason that I make the drive to Arizona to bet is so that I can bet 365 props.
Yeah, they're super square. I have a play that goes in line with what you said. My last ladder play of the day is Dalton Kincaid. I took him over his mainline prop, which I got him at 36.5. Last I checked, it was 38.5. Let me see what it is now. Yeah, it's still 38.5. I've been projected for 45, as you see on the screen here. Looks like that 30. You can get 37.5 at Bet Rivers for those of you that are able to bet at Bet Rivers. But to me, this is like the perfect buy low spot on Dalton Kincaid because he had a disgusting week one, which week one that happens. It is what it is. Week two, the first drive of the game, he had 2 targets. They were designing plays for Dalton Kincaid. He gets a little bit banged up. He returns to the game when that game's already out of hand.
Yep.
That was a Thursday Night Football where Tua, before he got hurt, threw a bunch of interceptions and he threw a pick 6. Week 3 against the Jags. You look at his final stat line, 41 yards and a touchdown on 3 receptions, looks fine. It was the same thing. Josh Allen didn't throw a pass in the second half of that game because they were winning. The Bills were winning 34-3 at halftime.
Yeah.
It was crazy. And so you look at like his 3-game sample size, you're like, this guy hasn't done anything. That's why we're getting a prop at 36.5. That's why we're getting plus 290 odds on him to get to 60 plus passing yards. But, and like, these are my favorite spots to bet because it's like, it's a perfect buy low opportunity. I
hate the fact that I have an edge on his unders, but I agree with you. I would not bet his over. I would take his under. Or no, flip it. I would take his over.
Okay, see, this is where we differ because I have an edge on his over receiving yards. But yeah, I mean, and the Ravens have been like a complete pass funnel. Like you look at their first 2 games, they've allowed the most passing yards per game by far, 315 per game. The next closest team is at 270, not even close. They've allowed the 6th most yards per route run, the 5th most yards per target. So it's not like it's just a volume thing, like per target, per yard route run, they're allowing a lot. And their defense, they can stop the run really, really well. They've allowed 93 rushing yards per game. No, even lower. Where are my notes? I guess I don't have that in here, but they don't allow anybody to run on them. So people just pass. And specifically to the tight end, 93 receiving yards per game. Second most receiving yards allowed to tight ends. Brock Bowers, who we just talked about, lit him up 9 receptions, 98 yards in week 2. Last week, Jake Ferguson, 6 receptions for 95 yards. I love Kincaid. And then the last play that I have for this game is Josh Allen anytime touchdown. I got him. So right now, another price where you can get a better price now than what I got him at. I got him at 135. He's now plus 145, which I don't love. But it is what it is. Give me 1 second. I'm just adding it to the sheet. I also just think that the market has moved a little too much on Josh Allen. Like he was minus money to score on Thursday Night Football, and I don't know what he was last week, but like he didn't score because they had 2 blowouts. You know what I mean? Like he didn't need to use his legs, but so he hasn't scored in 2 straight games. Prior to that, he had scored a touchdown in 15 of 18 games. Wow. And in that 18-game stretch, he had 5 separate games with 2 touchdowns. So he literally scored more. He had more games where he scored twice than he had games where he didn't score at all. And the last 2 games, blowouts. Like he didn't need to do anything. So there's no risk in running into the end zone going kamikaze like he did in week 1. The only close game that they've played in was week 1 where he scored twice. And here's where I have my notes about the Ravens. They've allowed the fewest rushing yards per game and the fewest yards per carry. So again, it's not just like a volume thing. It's like when teams are running, they're not getting anywhere. And teams can throw the ball. So like Josh Allen running back to dropping back to pass means more rushing attempts. So I think he's gonna score. I wanted to take his yards. I'm curious what that's at. We can see if there's an edge there. If you give me 1 second. And looks like there's a slight edge on FanDuel, taking him over 29.5. I wouldn't touch that. I would just take the anytime touchdown and call it a day. I see comment real quick. repeat the same James Cook. That's not a bad play either. I think that's solid. I like the Dalton Kincaid angle, but I don't hate the James Cook one at all. I had him last week and I cashed in the first drive, which was amazing. And and if you take that on, I guess you're paying some juice, but there is some value across the board on his over receiving yards.
Mhm.
And Adam Tate likes Hook and Henry and 10 touchdown parlay. Yeah, like I said, I like the Allen angle better, but I mean, Cook's been awesome, so I don't hate that at all.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, last game. You have anything else for today that you want to shout out that we haven't talked about yet?
We've got one more game, right?
I don't think Bills Ravens is Sunday night.
Oh wow. I thought we had one more game to go. Yeah. Let's see. Anything that I haven't shouted out. Let's take a look at the board. Let me just take a look.
Just some last minute wagers while people are finalizing some stuff.
Any last minute things here? What's been going on? That game. Commanders has been at 3.5 most of the way. Yeah. I think I'm pretty good there. I will say, love the Titans tomorrow night. I don't think the Dolphins are going to be good with a backup quarterback, and I think the Titans finally figure out how to win a spot. Why did this team fire Mike Vrabel?
I said that when they fired him, and then they put out that report that they were like that they were trying to trade him, but that they didn't want to go through the process of trading him, so they just fired him. It was like like that. I mean, that's really relatable. That like, it's too much work. Like we don't want to deal with trading. So they just fired him. I was like, I understand that as from a human level. I don't know why that report floated. Like who let that get out?
Seriously.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Vrabel's a good coach. I was surprised nobody picked him up. He's the type of guy where he's like Tomlin, where he needs to have good coordinators.
Mm-hmm.
But Jim Harbaugh is the same way. But if you have those good coordinators, and that team can win a lot of games. So yeah, I'm with you. I recorded my video for tomorrow night. I'm just waiting on my editor to edit it, which won't be out until later today. But all my stuff has already been sent out for people that care. Cool. All right. Well, Tom, appreciate you for joining me. Do you want to tell the people where they can find you?
Absolutely. You can find me on Twitter at TV at Work. That is where you're going to see all of my random tweets. That's, let's face it, mostly bullshit. But hey, sometimes good things spew out of my mind too. You can also find me and all my work at unabated.com. We have the Unabated podcast. If you want to check that out, myself and Captain Jack dispensing some good gambling advice and talking to some great people. This week's episode, Gina Fiore sits down with Roxy Roxborough, who, if you don't know him, he is like, legend doesn't even begin to describe Roxy in the gambling space. He's first off my favorite person in gambling, but he is it's a fantastic interview. This is a man who has literally been there and done it all. Highly recommend checking that out. And other than that, unabated.com. We are this toolbox here for bettors. We're here to help you find plus EV bets and to be able to really feel confident in what you're betting. We're here to help you bet sharper and bet smarter. We're a toolbox with a whole bunch of stuff in addition to the props tools and the mainline tools that you've seen here. Absolutely come check us out. If you want a one-on-one demo, just go to unabated.com/demo. And Matt, I don't know if you've got an affiliate code or not. But if you do,
I don't think so.
All right. Well, nonetheless, come check us out. You can get a one-on-one demo at unabated.com/demo. It's going to be me walking you through the tools, and I'll hook you up with a free trial for your troubles too. Yeah,
there you go. I put a link to both Tom's Twitter and Unabated in the description of the video, so check that out. If you're not sure where, I don't know, if you're not sure where to go, that's where it is. It's not hard to find, but cool. Yeah. All right. Well,
and go to youtube.com/unabated live or at unabated. Just search Unabated live on YouTube. We'll be doing a show this afternoon. I do an in-game betting show following us through the witching hour from the end of halftime for the first games all the way up to the witching hour of the early slate.
It's a quick fantasy question that I will answer. Check that out. Yeah, if you're looking, and like he has a screen up so you can kind of see where the value is and stuff if you're looking to live bet, and also just sweat out whatever you're currently betting. So yeah, cool. All right, well, I'll be here next week. I'll be here, and then I'll be out for a couple of weeks. But yeah, next Sunday, same time, Monday, tomorrow, Thursday, all that stuff still on. So yeah, everybody go make sure to check out all that stuff Tom said. Again, links to his Twitter and to Unabated are in the description of the videos. Check that out. But appreciate everybody for joining us. Everybody make sure to bet responsibly, and we will check with you next time.